Guys, Anthony Michael here, Texas Chainsaw Restorations. Today we are going to pick up where we left off with Brother Sam's Poland 245A Leatherface saw. As you can see, we got the painting done, and we're going to start with the reassembly. We were up pretty late last night getting a lot of this done. The carburetor's been rebuilt. Got the carb rebuilt, new diaphragm, new gaskets, whole nine, cleaned out. Also flipped the reed pedals as well. Only thing left to paint is going to be the tops. But like I said, there's still some stuff that has to be done to the tops as far as the stenciling goes on the side. Actually don't have the right paper right now in my printer to print out the stencil, so that's going to have to wait until I get that, because the scratches that are on the saw on the film, I actually use a stencil for that I pulled right off the screen, so it matches 1000%. So this is going to have to wait until I get the paper for the printer. And yeah, so I guess for now we can begin to reassemble this thing. I'm going to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Don't want to block you out. Like I said in the previous video, this is a damn good saw. Like a damn good saw. Good compression, super clean. I mean, you don't get better than that. We never did get to take the clutch off, but it's totally fine. Didn't need to, thankfully. Very carefully remove all the masking tape. I probably should have did all this before I started the stream, but it's okay. As you can see, it's painted color matched farm yellow. This is not a close variant or anything. This is the real deal. Got this paint custom mixed, scanned directly off of a original saw. So people ask about the rig I used to paint. I'll show you. So this is what I've got. This is the paint here. People ask for the paint code. So, I mean, I'd give it to you, but, I mean, it's right here. But that it's irrelevant because, you know, depending on where you get your paint mixed, it's got to be a different code. So, you know, it's not like one paint code is universal for the color. I mean, it doesn't work that way. My advice to anybody out there who wants to get the right color paint, if you're, you know, you really want to get it 100% matched, you need to get your hands on an original farm yellow part. You know, you don't have to find a whole saw, and it can be any saw. Like right now on eBay, there's a air filter cover from early model 361. It's painted farm yellow. You take that part into an automotive paint supply, they scan it, and boom, you got farm yellow paint. Now, when I first started doing it, I bought a whole big, the compressor, gravity fed gun and all that, and I was wasting a lot of paint doing that, guys, like a lot of paint, because these are small. I'm painting small parts, and I was wasting a ton of paint. So I downsized and I got a smaller, cheaper paint gun. Ordered it on Amazon, and it does a phenomenal job. It comes with several different tips, and I mean, you get no runs, nothing. I mean, it comes out phenomenal. And the brand of paint that I use is called Nason, Nason. It's the closest thing to old school automotive paint on the market, minus the lead. There's no lead in it, but everything else, it's pretty much the same. that's what I use, and just to kind of show you how close the paint is. Here's an original Farm Yellow fan cover here, and here's the one that we just painted. I mean, you don't get any closer than that, you know. So if that's the route you want to go that route. Otherwise, there's Key Lime Green by Rust-Oleum, and there is Lemongrass by Rust-Oleum. And they're very good substitutes, and you can get decals that match the same. I don't recommend using Sugar Creek Supply. Their decal looks good, but it is not accurate, and it is later model colored. So if you got a 245 and you just want to, you know, throw that on there, then so be it. But if you're going to repaint the saw, make sure the decal matches the paint. This is close. Where we at? I need my little pliers here. Always mask off the threads on here as well, since that's what Poland did as well when they painted them. But they had like these plastic covers that they put on their saws before they were painted. Like they had a plastic cap that went over the clutch. They had like these plastic sleeves that went over the threads here. It's pretty cool. There's a video on YouTube called the Poland story, I believe, or the history of Poland, and you can check it out, and it kind of gives you, it's on like 8mm film or something, and it's really blurry with bad sound quality, but you can see a lot of cool stuff. You can see how they did that. You know, you see the saws getting painted, and it's really neat. See them installing the clutches. Yeah, so far so good. Obviously, you can still see some of the original overspray on there, like right here. You know, that's later model Nopar Green. That's overspray from the Poland factory. And you see it in the threads as well. It's pretty cool. But that's on like almost every saw. We can remove the flywheel. It's not installed, it's just on there, just so I could get the paint on it. When Poland painted them, they painted the fan cover. It was partially assembled when they painted them. The fan cover was on them when they got painted at the factory. Clutch cover was not. That's all there is to that. This paint is not going to hurt them. None of that. Anything that was important that needed to be covered was covered. And any overspray in this area is not going to hurt it. It's a good thing. It's, you know, it's painted better after these restorations than they were from the factory. And the reason is, you know, they were mass producing them, and they were getting painted on an assembly line. They did not have time to, you know, hit every little detail like I'm doing. That's one of my favorite compliments that I get when I restore a saw for somebody is, man, this thing looks better than it did when it came from the factory. So, thank you. But that's only because we're able to take the time and really paint it, pay attention to all the little spots and details and stuff. They couldn't do that, you know. They were mass producing them. They were making, I think even in that video I was talking about, by 1974, they were producing 1 million units a year, over 1 million units a year. So And that was, all of their lineup between 245s, 306As, 361s, and one of their biggest selling saws was the little top handle XXV Polands. This is pretty cool. They sold a shit ton of those. So much so that you actually I've seen them pop up brand new in the box still. The little Poland XXV, straight from the Poland factory, still in the original packaging and everything. It's super cool. I've seen a few of them on Facebook Marketplace and stuff. Okay. Now we can work on taking this off. Expose the cylinder now. Moment of truth here. I like to try to find where I did it so I don't have to keep just tearing into the tape, but it's hard to find the seams when I paint over it. Kind of treat it like Christmas morning, just rip. That is until we get to the bottom of the crankcase, then, we have to be a little careful. But yeah, look, you can see some of the original Mopar green overspray on the cylinder. It's common. Now, if this saw would have gotten rebuilt, I probably would have sanded all that off, but I mean, you don't really have to. That's covered anyway by the cylinder cover. Then it's extremely important to make sure that this stuff is completely set up before you get to peeling this off. Because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to lose your clean line here. See where the cylinder meets the crankcase? That's how you want it. A nice, beautiful, straight line. Like that. You see? Just like new. Alright, so now there's our crankcase done, painted, farm yellow. What else do I gotta remove? This. So we took the lid off of the gas tank. I always cover it with, I have an extra 306A gas tank cover that I put on here just for painting. Let's see, this has been completely painted. These screws are here just to be able to get the paint the same color on there. Because, like I said, we try to mimic what Poland did as best we can, and they did paint these partially assembled. So that's why you see a lot of the screws are painted over on the saws. Now this is going to be a Leatherface replica, so there's going to be a lot more to this. If this was just going to be an early model restoration, we'd pretty much be done. All we would have to do from here is just reassemble the saw, slap the decals on, and be done. But this is going to be a Leatherface replica, so it endures the same process, except for there's a lot of hand weathering that happens after the fact. So once we get this completely built, then we'll go through it, hit all the sanding, the scraping, the painting, and all that good stuff. So these are definitely a much more intricate process than just the early model restoration. But these are my favorite ones to do, though. We don't want to lose that in the masking tape. And it's so much better to use automotive grade paint on these than it is the Rust-Oleum. Uh, you got to be a whole lot more careful with that stuff than you do with this, because for whatever reason, every single time I've ever used Rust-Oleum rattle cans, I have to go back and fill a lot of this stuff, like clean all this, because it just, for whatever reason, it just bleeds through all the masking tape in certain areas. This does not, though, and this dries pretty much in minutes. I painted this early this morning. We got the painting done, prepped it all last night with the sanding and everything, primer, and we did all the painting early this morning, so I gave it, it's been about 6 hours, so it's completely dry and cured up. It's good. It's not tacky. Feels just like the originals. Alright, let's do the throttle trigger. Of course. Yeah, I apologize. I hope you guys aren't bored, whoever's watching. I was debating on whether or not to do this stuff before I started the stream, but I figured, you know what, whoever's interested, they'll watch it. Kind of see what all I do. My least favorite part of the whole process, guys, is the cleaning. You know, the prepping it for paint, because you know these saws have a lot of, they have like sometimes 40, 50 years of dirt on them, and they can be a real bitch to clean. You know, they got a lot of corners and nooks and crannies in them, so it's really hard to get it all. So that takes a whole day in its own just to clean it. You know, I know that may look like dirt here, but that's not. That's actually just like pitting, corrosion stuff right here, but it's not so bad. You know, the rest is nice and smooth, nice and clean. There's our throttle trigger. There you go. Fuel flue here. This is the connector for your fuel line. Always make sure you take this up, guys. Mask this when you paint. That's if you paint the inside of the carb box. I know some people don't. I didn't used to do that, but I saw this done by my buddy Mike Spencer from Classic Poland. He's the king of restorations, in my opinion. And, I'm a big fan of him. But I've seen a lot of his saws, he always paints the inside, and really that gives the, you know, you get a solid seal here with the paint. There's no seam where the clear coat ends, so I like to do that. And it also looks really good when you got a clean carb in there and everything, and it's all set up. It looks really good like that. I know Poland didn't do that, but I think it looks great. And I sometimes don't do that. It just depends on the restoration too. Like, because not only do I do saws from scratch like this, you know, complete restorations, but I've also patched up saws that were already painted. And if that's the case, you know, they don't really want to restore it, but they want to patch up the paint, like maybe it's missing some paint in the front or something, or paint on the rear handle needs to be patched. I'll do that. Those types of jobs, I don't ever paint the inside of the carb box because, you know, we're keeping it original. Before I put this carburetor back in, I am going to have to play with the throttle linkage, because I noticed when I was taking this apart, I was having some issues getting the carb out, getting it detached from the linkage here, and I think it's because it's bent in a funny way, so I'll have to fool around with it and bend it back. You know, you got to be careful if you're messing with this though, because sometimes what will happen is you'll snap it right off of here because it's only plastic, and you don't want that to happen, so you got to be very careful. So there's that. Rear handle, top piece completely repainted. One last thing to take the masking tape off of, and that would be the fan cover. Now I did put the screws, fan cover screws in there, because like I said, we want to get the heads the same color. So that's one way to do it. Tag. Sometimes, like sometimes somebody will request that I swap the ID tags, you know, because sometimes the tags they say 306A or something else, and they want it to say 245, or their 245A fan cover is destroyed, and they want to salvage the tag. So I'll take the tag off and put it on a better fan cover or whatever. So sometimes I'll take it off and just put a whole new rivets in there and put it back on. But this fan cover was perfectly fine. So we just masked over it. You bend it up. This is very soft metal. It's like tin. So you bend it upward like that, and then you can clean it out from under it really, really well. And then you can stick the tape under there and use a really sharp X-Acto knife to kind of trim it up to make sure you're completely covering it. It up. As you can see, this ID tag is kind of chewed up, but I'll put all that black there again. Black high heat resistant paint pen. You can actually get them on Amazon for pretty cheap. It's an engine enamel pen, so that way it resists the gas and oil and the heat. And boom, there you have it. Check that out. All it needs is the black. It's done. Okay, let me peek here and see if anybody's watching or who's watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, being that this is a Leatherface replica, there's going to be, it looks super mint right now and super clean, but it won't be for long. Yeah, you can see the new decals. I actually just got some in, but I'm not happy with the color. So I was doing some experimenting and measuring the actual decal on the early that I have, And the original decals are just a little bit smaller than the circle that they fit in. So the actual space on these clutch covers is 3.25 inches. But, and that's what this decal is. Most of them are. But the actual decals themselves are 3.15. All of the early model decals that I've seen are just a touch smaller. Not really, but just enough. So I was experimenting, and I had them printed, and I'm not too happy with the color on this, so may not be using it. We'll have to see. I may be able to work with it. You can tell on some of the original saws, though, the decal is a touch more green than the paint itself. So that's kind of what we were going for. But it still needs some adjusting, in my opinion. I mean, it's damn close, but not quite close enough for my liking. So I've got more coming tomorrow. The color was adjusted on them, so we're gonna see how that goes. I'll show you what I mean. Here's an original. You see how the decal is just a little bit greener than the paint. That's kind of what I was going for. And my good buddy Jay Catlin at Crystal Lake Creations, he's working on some stuff for me, and I think it's going to be pretty good. Sam, is this my saw or the one that got sent back to you? That is your saw, brother. This is your saw. So I'm guessing you're just tuning in. So here's your crankcase. Also got the we got the handlebar re-gripped with the proper grip. We even got the proper cut in it, just like the one in the film. There you have it. So we're just reassembling it right now. I don't know that I'm going to finish the whole thing today, but I don't know if here's your top handle. Farm yellow. So Sam, just so you can see how close it is, this is an original farm yellow fan cover. This is the real deal. And then here's the one that I just painted for you. So you can see they're identical. So there you go. The only thing that we're going to be held up with, I need the proper material for my printer, because in the film, the scratches that are on the side here of the air filter cover, I actually have a stencil that I made of those scratches. I pulled it right off the screen, so that way they match 100%. But the material I printed on, I ran out of, so I haven't gotten to the tops. So the tops will be the very last thing that I do. The muffler was sanded and shined. We'll fix that up too. This whole thing has it gets the same process as just a regular old early model restoration, but the difference is once it's completely reassembled, then we do all the weathering. That's all the scratches and the painting and sanding and the screen matching stuff, all the fine details. We'll hit all that at the end. We also got this stuff filled in on your oil button and your choke lever. because in the film it's very much still visible, all white writing, because it was a pretty new saw. It did have a lot of hours on it when they filmed with it, you could see that. But we start from there. And here's your clutch cover. And I was just showing these guys the decals. You can see the difference in the colors here. This one's a bit closer, but both are still wrong. I have another batch coming. I mean, they're not wrong, but they are, not to my liking. So we're going to fool around with it. And, this may end up being the one we use just because this is technically more accurate. And it's going to get weathered anyhow. So we'll see. I'm going to put these off to the side so they don't get moved. There's your rear handle brace. And your cylinder cover. So, also the insert for your pull handle. Shine that up to make it look more like the one in the film. Recoil has been reworked, taken apart, cleaned out, and reworked, oiled up real good. And also the coil has been cleaned thoroughly. I do spray the wires, but I'm not going to do it on this one just because it's already kind of got that age to it, and we kind of want that for what we're doing. You're even cleaned out all the threads and everything on your toggle switch as well. There's no dirt left on this saw anywhere. I mean, not one speck of dirt, inside or out. It's basically getting back a brand new saw when you get a restoration done with me. And it'll still have that brand new feel to it. It's not going to look brand new anymore because we're going to weather it up and stuff, but you know what I mean. Really quick, after I paint up the flywheels, the magnet on the side, I like to take that paint off of there. Some paint remover on the rag. Just like this. Now, obviously, we don't clear coat that because it's just the flywheel. We clear coat the front, but not the sides, because we want that magnet as clean and smooth as possible, so we can make good contact with the coil. Boom. So there's that. Alright, I guess we can finish with the reassembly part. We can get pretty far with it. Then the oil cap as well is going to get painted. I am going to check. I'm going to look through my stuff and see if I have the right oil cap, because let me see. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I told you. I mean, typically, weather permitting and the saw itself, I can get a restoration done in one day, technically. One whole day of painting and reassembling it, it'll take. But typically, an entire saw from start to finish, 2 to 3 days max. But the painting process is only one day. And like I said, it also depends on the saw. It depends on the condition, what all it needs. Like, I knew that this saw didn't really need a rebuild or anything, no major work, and it didn't need any major cosmetic stuff. Like, there was no cracks or holes or anything that I had to fill and sand. This thing was in really good shape, so that kind of cuts down on the work time as well. Because sometimes I'll get a saw that has like a cracked clutch cover, or it has like big gouges in the oil tank, or there's a bunch of corrosion on it that needs to be sanded off and all that. Like, that that kind of changes the turnaround time on these things. But you got a really good saw here, bro. This is in really good shape. I mean, you could, it's, yeah, you got a good saw. So I knew it wouldn't take too long. Also, I did rebuild this carburetor too last night. It's taken apart completely, cleaned out, and rebuilt with a new diaphragm, all new gaskets, new check valve, new metering arm, new needle. It was actually missing the screen right here too, so it's got new screens in it. Even sprayed the needles off and put them back in. So this thing should be perfect. And I always put it back to factory settings from the start, and then put it in there, and then go from there as far as tuning it. But we know this saw runs, so I am not going to put gas in it. Unless you want me to make a video when it's done and put it here on the channel, I'll do that. But otherwise, if you say otherwise, I will not put any gas in it. And even if you do want me to make a video of it running, uh, before I ship it, it'll be completely dried out. There will be no gas in it. But you let me know if that's something you want me to do. If you want me to make a video of it running, I will. I keep forgetting about the bar. I'm going to do the bar too, so I'm probably going to need a day to do that. So all in all, I think this thing will be completely done within the next few days. Uh, what's he got? Yeah, I mean, dude, that was a great idea. If you got a good crankcase, I mean, so what? It's a 306A. There's some people that are so annoying about that shit. They're like, oh, well, it's 306A. If you got a good running 306A crankcase, and you have all the 245 parts from a 245 SA, that's the best way to go, man. I've converted quite a bit of 306As with like 245 SA parts or Dayton parts, which is a 245 SA. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You got a really good saw out of it too. I'm happy for you. Uh, let's see. What do I want to do really quick? I'm going to do the recoil first. So now we get our felt washer. I hope you guys can see. Slide that on here. Oh wait, you know what? I always forget to do this. Always put the rope back in first. You save yourself a whole lot of trouble. It's just a lot easier to get it wired up while it's off. Recoil parts. This is the top. We don't want them super, super tight. We just want them just on. And then we'll go back with the wrench and tighten it once we're through doing what we're doing here. Okay. Now we need to take off the cover. Come on, baby. As you can see, this has all been sanded as well, nice and smooth. Now we're going to reattach your pull handle. I like to use this to pop that out. Handle first. And our insert. Which this hole is really small here. I mean, it's a good thing. But I may actually have to drill that out a little bit. It's okay. We'll do it really quick. Bigger. Not much bigger. We don't want to go too big. Actually, we can just widen it with this bit. Also start my new job tomorrow. So I would like to get the majority of this stuff done today if I can. Like I want to get all of the outdoor painting stuff done today, which it pretty much is. The only thing left I got to do as far as that goes is the tops. And then the rest of it is all hand painting, weathering stuff. Just widen this up a little bit. See if that helped us. Got a good bit of slack. Let's start from scratch with this. There we go. Now, work on our knot. And you know now it's definitely not going to come out. It's barely fit going in. here. Pull them apart. Just make that knot as tight as we can get it. Then I like to take the fire again to it. You don't want to do that too much, guys, because sometimes what'll happen is you'll weaken the rope and then it'll tear. You don't want that. Just enough to cinch it together like that. Pull it up through the piece. Get the insert back in. Let's pull. Back. You know what? I actually should shake that again. Stick it out just a little bit. So we pull that out. Just means we gotta bend this down a little bit. That's all. Insert back in. There we go. That's better. Check it out. Okay, now we're going to get the tension back on it. Pull it up like this. Get the rope in that little notch. Kind of a pain in the ass. Rotate it counterclockwise a few times. I do 3 turns each. Pull the slack. Let it come in. And there we go again. And you just keep doing it until you get that really good snappy recoil, because that's what you want. You don't want any slack hanging out of the saw when you're trying to start it. This is a pain sometimes, but you gotta work with it. That's all the way, but we're going to do one more just to guarantee that it's nice and tight. Feel the spring getting tight like that, you're good. Boom. Now you got a nice snappy recoil. So, just in case, I like to. There's already oil in the. I put oil in the spring and on the disc as well, on both sides of the disc and both sides of the recoil spool. But we're going to put just a little bit more. This just ensures that it's not getting hung up on anything. This is all sanded smooth. So you want that to move nice and easy. You don't want anything getting hung up on that. And anybody out there watching who is, you know, going to be working on one of these anytime soon, these 3 black screws, I never recommend using a drill to put them on. You usually need one to take them off because they get so damn tight. But once these are stripped, then heads are stripped, you're not getting them out. And it's a nightmare. You're going to need to replace the whole recoil. It's just a bad thing. Just use a screwdriver. They don't need to be torqued to the max. They just need to be finger tight. Not finger tight, just screwdriver tight. That's it. Because yes, sometimes the rope comes out. Sometimes it breaks. You know, that's something that, you know, that doesn't mean your saw is damaged if the rope comes out. It just means it needs a new pull rope. And if you want to be able to get back inside of the recoil, you need to make sure that these are not absolutely torqued. Because you are going to have problems if they are. Okay, now we can tighten this up with the wrench. Just a few turns. Good. That's good. Recoil is in place. Now we can put the moon key back into the crankshaft. Very carefully. Don't drop this thing because you lose them. Usually when you drop them, they like disappear because of how small they are. Just tap it in. The moon key has to be flush with the crankshaft on that little angle. It kind of is tapered. And you'll see why in a moment. I may have to adjust it again. You'll see why that's important. Put your flywheel. Line it up with the moon key. Can't really see it. But there it is. Usually want the starter pawls to grab it. Oh, there's something we don't like. Recoil is sticking. Well, that could be because this is too tight. We'll find out. Watch, ready? Yeah, see? Or if they're bent, this happens. If the plates are bent, it'll press down on that disc and screw you all up. You don't want that either. Looks like it's getting hung up somewhere. I may just have to take some pliers and I may have to just bend this up a little bit. Make sure it's nice and flush so this doesn't keep happening. I'm going to take it off and try and look at it and see what we can do about it. I know you've got more than that because I wrapped it, so. Alright, well. Oil to hit it. Okay. It could just be the spring too. Sometimes the spring is not wanting to move any further than that, and I kind of feel like this is running into the edge after a few turns. I see it happening. But not sure. I'll have to rework that before I go any further. I'd like to mess with it. So I think for now, because I am going to be pretty busy with this for the next few hours, I want to get that addressed before I go ahead and put that together. I don't want to have to go back in and, do this again. So I think we're going to end it there for today. And I'm going to address the recoil because I feel like it's not extending as much as it should. Like the spring is getting caught. I mean, that is enough for you to start it, but we don't want that. We want to make sure that it's completely extended. So let me get that handled, and then I think tomorrow evening, late or maybe tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow early evening, I will go live again and update you guys on the process and show you how far we are, and hopefully by then I'll have the top covers done as well, and you guys will enjoy watching it, I hope. So have a good day, guys. Thanks for watching.